The movie that stunned the world and the book that inspired it was told from the mother's perspective. Well, now, 2 decades later, her daughter Mahtab Mahmoudi tells her own story.
20 years ago, Sally Field starred in the movie Not Without My Daughter, a movie based on the true story of Betty Mahmoudi and her daughter Mahtab. Betty was married to an abusive Muslim husband who prevented her and Mahtab from leaving Iran. Now Mahtab shares their ordeal in her book, My Name is Mahtab, and how she learned to forgive the father who shattered her life.
Please welcome to 700 Club Interactive, Mahtab Mahmoudi. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
That movie was gripping. I mean, absolutely gripping. I mean, you couldn't watch it without feeling so much emotion. You lived through that. We saw the movie and the original book your mother wrote through the eyes of a mom. How was it different through the eyes of a 6-year-old?
I think I was blessed as a child to see things in black and white. You know, things are right or things are wrong, and I want to go home, you know? So I didn't know all the danger lurking in between that Mom had to grapple with.
So what made you decide to write the book?
Well, first off, I had the opportunity, and what an amazing opportunity. So I appreciated that, but the timing was because there was a woman who was very dear to me who was Mom's editor in Germany, and it was her dream for me to write a book. And Anya was dying at the time of the most recent request, and so when I was asked to write and I knew Anya wouldn't be around much longer, I thought this is my last opportunity to honor her.
So a wonderful opportunity for people to see and hear the story through your eyes, also a legacy and an honor to her. When your mom first married your dad, Mahtab, he wasn't really an extreme Muslim. Did he even practice this faith?
As I understand it, no, he didn't until the time of the revolution.
So what do you think it was that gripped him and made him say, you know, I am a Muslim Iranian?
I think at the time of the revolution, and I suspect this is happening all over the world today. You know, there are revolutions all over the world. And he was removed from his country. And I think he felt a responsibility. He felt this tugging of his roots and was drawn back to his homeland, his culture, and his religion.
His family was there, right?
His family was there.
Did a lot of that pressure come from them, do you think?
I think so, but I think that this was definitely his plan, not his family's plan. He made that decision. It was his responsibility. And he made his decision when I was born, and he was working for 4 years secretly to put it into action. And I can see that he wanted to raise me with his values. Yeah. And that's an admirable thing for a parent to take that responsibility so seriously, to instill their values into the next generation. But his values weren't my values, and the way he went about it was not acceptable.
Was not acceptable. Talk a little bit about life in Iran as you remember it, because you were only 6, and you say in your book that you have actually sort of like snapshots of what life was like then. What do you remember?
I do. My memories are very vivid, and they're completely disjointed. So I have these vivid snapshots.
Thus 6.
Exactly. Life was very different. You know, opening a coloring book, one page was colored, the other was black and white. Children weren't allowed to choose, even make a decision, even in the simplest thing, like what color is the flower going to be. At school, we had to stomp on the American flag in order to enter the compound. It was more like a military compound. And then we had to march in the courtyard and shout "Death to America." We had to cover. Schools were separated. Boys and girls went to different schools, and very different. The teachers asked a question, gave an answer, no thinking.
And yet in the midst of that intensity, you never bought into it. I mean, I found that quite remarkable for a 6-year-old.
I come from a long line of stubborn people. No, I think that's the grace of God.
When your mom determined that she would make a plan and that you all would escape, that she prayed and asked God to show her a way. Were you ever aware of the incredible danger involved in that?
I knew it was very dangerous. I was with her when she was meeting with these people secretly, trying to arrange an escape many times over the 18 months. And I knew several of the plans that had been put into place that fell through. And I knew all along that this was the most dangerous route. No one wanted this to be the route we had to take over the mountains into Turkey.
Were you afraid?
I was afraid, but I wanted to go home.
Yeah. As I was reading your book, I just thought, even to get a 6-year-old to, number one, never mention any of these people that you met that were helping you with this, to never give away any of the details, and to follow directions without crying and having a little attack.
No, I did cry. I wanted my bunny. I didn't want to leave my bunny.
Yes, there was the bunny. But through all of that trauma, you came to the United States, and people would think, well, whew, you're free, you're here. But you weren't free, because your dad was, for years, insistent that he would find you and return you. How did you live during those years? Until the time he died, he was still trying to have a reunion. We lived by faith. Yeah. We implemented, Mom and I implemented every security measure we could. Including an assumed name for you as a child. That must have been strange. Yes. In some ways I think it was helpful. I had kind of 2 different roles in my life, like a job. A doctor is a doctor, and then they go home and they're mommy or daddy. Yes. And so I had a different name for each role. So when I was at home in my real life, I was using a fake name. And I knew exactly what details could be shared. Because even early on, the people around us didn't know, what we had gone through. And then when I was traveling with Mom and we're doing interviews, then I'm Matab and I can say anything. Even when you were a legal adult, your dad finally did find you. What was that like for you? That was really terrifying and really infuriating. Yes. His initial message, he left a message on the answering machine at Mom's house, and he said that I was 21, now I could think for myself, and he was going to tell me the truth, because what I'd been told all these years was a lie. And I turned to Mom and I said, did he forget I was there? Yeah. Yes, because exactly. I remembered. But in spite of that, you saw your father physically abusive to your mother, verbally abusive to both of you, disconnected from you as family during your time in Iran emotionally. How did you come to forgive him? How did God intervene in your heart so that you didn't wind up forever bitter and forever broken? I was extremely bitter after our escape. I was filled with hatred, to the point of one day when Mom told me there was a plane crash and a lot of Iranian people had died, I said, good, I hope my dad was one of them. Wow. So zero empathy for the families who were suffering or those who had lost their lives. I wanted my dad dead. And so I'm so thankful that my teachers helped me. It's through hearing the word of God. Yes. And Mom helping me appreciate this heritage that is mine. Yeah. She did an amazing job of helping you become set free from all of that, helping you understand the goodness that was in your father, and helping you appreciate the beauty of your Persian culture. She did. Yeah. She did. She never spoke disparagingly of him. She was honest and forthright about the wrongs that he had done, but she was equally forthright about how much he loved me. We haven't even touched your health and all the things that you've gone through with that, but I'm going to just encourage all of you to read Matab's fascinating story yourself. You can read it all in her new book. It's called My Name is Matab. It's available wherever books are sold. And watch the movie as well, Not Without My Daughter. It is a remarkable story. It's wonderful to get to meet you in person and to have you here. Oh, it's my honor. Thank you. Thank you for coming.